Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. I am not a member, however, I have entered into their labors, peace, mercy, and blessings unto the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. And looky what we have here. Does Ecclesiasticus this fall? Not Ecclesiasticus. I'm sorry, Ecclesiastes in the outside of the Apocrypha, not Sirach and Ecclesiasticus, aka Ecclesiasticus. This is Ecclesiastes, where it's in the first chapter and it says there's nothing new under the sun. Right, the Lord meant that in a macrocosmic and a microcosmic way, and this falls into it. You can read the title. I'm not gonna read it. I feel like this one will be pretty controversial ish. I don't know. You never know with the old tube, you know. But thou hypocrite. Let's see. 7 U.S. senators introduced a resolution on Friday accusing Russia of committing a genocide against the people of Ukraine. And what about the genocides that you've committed around the world? Like, why are you even in Syria, thou hypocrite? These allegations, which mirror a similar one introduced in the House of Representatives last month, has been refuted by Moscow. I mean, of course, it probably is. And I'm not saying I'm not rooting for either side. I am not advocating for either side. I'm not advocating for any of this. I'm advocating for prophecy just to come to pass. And this is just an avenue because this is what they do before they start the propaganda campaign, the smear campaign, before they do anything else, right? Muammar Gaddafi, okay, um, Saddam Hussein, many other puppet leaders around the parts of Africa and in South America, many different places where they make these wild accusations that they themselves are actually doing, but they make these accusations against other places, and well, you know the rest. The rest is history. The rest is history. Let me get something real quick before we continue. Um, Again, I was reading through the word chronologically, and I decided to just pop up on you on RT and see what they got. And lo and behold, that was the first thing that came up. All right. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Um, he's done this, and we understand that the Edomites or Esau Edom is throughout Spain and Eastern Europe too, and Western Europe and all these other places. And everywhere they've gone, they've left a wake of death and destruction, robbery, rape, murder, all these things, right? Selling a boy for wine, all of those things, all of that, especially when he had free reign to be the Lord's whooping stick and deal with us because of our sins. And the Lord allowed him to just, he just took it too far. All right, but see the title again. Let's continue. Um, okay, have been refuted by Moscow, which has accused Ukraine of committing the same offenses. And you want to follow the money, so who's backing who, right? The resolution was sponsored by the senators, by Senators Jim Risch, however you say that, okay, ranking member of the Senate of Foreign Relations Committee. And whenever you see this word, whether it's a council on foreign relations or anything or foreign policy, you know it's some wickedness. You just know it's some wickedness because foreign policy means, in a nutshell, to ensure the people they've installed are doing what they told them to do, and to disrupt anything that is not in the best interest of the whore. U.S. government agency says that it promotes. I can't even read that with a straight face. It promotes human rights, military security, and economic cooperation in Europe and Eurasia. Okay, Senator Roger Wicker. And it's just a name. You can look these people up on your own and kind of see anything, see what kind of bills they signed off on or what their stance is. You can do that on your own. Okay, two outspoken opponents who have pushed Congress to classify Russia as a state sponsor of the T word. Really? A step in which some U.S. allies have balked at. And balk just means to second guess or like not really agree with something. So, here's the little small groundworks of the beast hating the whore, because U.S. allies are, the folks that are part of the beast system, the old Rome vassal states. According to the text, they committed deliberate and regularized murders of fleeing civilians, indiscriminate attacks against civilians and civilian areas, like maybe drone strikes in places where we have no business being, something like that, maybe. Systematic SA violence, really, like the children that go missing every year here, huh? Maybe, thou hypocrite. Um, the forcible transfer of millions of civilians, hundreds of thousands of whom are children, to the Federation. Okay, meanwhile, Russia has accused Ukraine forces of using civilians as human shields. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot of different things, a lot of accusations being thrown around here. But you kind of, you just kind of know, because just like when places run your credit and see your history and they make a decision, you can look at the history of Babylon the Great and kind of come to an educated guess on exactly who's telling somewhat of a truth and who's not, especially because who they're backing. Forces have for weeks, provided weaponry. Okay, the city contains no military targets. All right, have hit schools. Ukrainian artillery barrages have hit schools, hospitals, and residential areas. Frequently attacked the People's Republic since 2014. Forced policies aimed at stamping out the language, right? Um, and this all comes with talks of them trying to be a part of NATO, which would put NATO in Russia's backyard, which is the equivalent of Russia trying to take Alaska or setting up right in the Gulf of Mexico or something like that. And the Babylon the Great would not take that lightly. Let's see. The vast majority of claims that Russian. Oh, I went too far. Let's see. Declared in February that Russian forces were entering the country to stop ongoing humiliation and genocide of the people of Donetsk. I don't know how to say that. You can read that. The vast majority of claims that Russian troops have committed the SA violence have been outed as false, of course. But you know what's not false? Um, our military going around doing these things, especially in Japan, in many different places where we are from the time of World War II, since we've never left. Everywhere we go, we don't leave, right? Because he never keeps it at home. There, and I've been to these countries and I've seen these things. There have been many, many places where people have made complaints. The locals have made a lot of complaints, right? And not to mention, I do a lot of things. I do a lot of videos on children right here in Babylon the Great, where these things are going on with our children. So, hypocrite. But this is just the groundwork for that, for Revelation 11. We'll just get that real quick because I haven't gotten one. Right, this is the groundwork for the second woe is past, Revelation 11 and 14. Behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So first woe, first, second, and third are the world wars. One and two have already passed. Obviously, we're working on the third. This is the good piece of a groundwork for the third, right? Because that's what they do. They never change up their tactics. They say and make the same accusation for everyone. However, they behind the scenes are doing those things, right? And let's get Nahum. Yeah, buddy, let's get Nahum. Because while they're making these wild accusations without any actual proof, there is proof over here on the home front um, of them being outed, of Babylon the Great, of Esau, Edom as a whole being outed. This is Nineveh's complete ruin, which is spiritual, right? Because this place is a spiritual Babylon, and you can link that with Joel 3 and 19, Isaiah 13 and 19, Jeremiah 51 and 29, Jeremiah 50 and 23, Jeremiah 50 and 40, 49 and 17, Isaiah 47 and 1, Psalms 108, around the fifth verse, I believe. But this place is spiritual Egypt in Babylon right here, this landmass that we're on. Spiritual Egypt, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Sodom. But you know damn well the spiritual Sodom. You know that. Um, and that is for those who are given the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Right. And that's in many ways because it's talking about the scriptures, but the scriptures also give you eyes to see and ears to hear the BS. You know, I don't know about you, but the more that I've studied and read and submersed myself into this thing, you can read, you can kind of sort through the BS people tell you, especially when the Spirit reveals the BS of your arch enemy. All right, so Nahum 3 and 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And that will happen as well to this place. Um, let's see what he got for nakedness. Discover thy face. Ma'ar, Marah, maybe. Bare naked place, nakedness, bare place. Exposed in punishment. Ukah, Yahweh Bashmi Awashai. Because all of those wild accusations that Babylon the Great makes, they are actually doing. Poured out, expose myself. No, we get the connotation of being exposed, literally exposed, and like bare skin, and also the spiritual connotation of an exposure. To be bare, be nude, uncovered, leave destitute. Does not the scriptures also talk about this place never being inhabited? It'll be for all kinds of birds and owls and a wasteland, right? After the impending lake of fire. We'll just leave it at that. Let's see. So that's really it. You get the gist. You see. Of course, there's nothing new under the sun. They never use any new tactics. You're played out. All right. So all we have to do is continue to live a repentant life and keep preaching this word, keep pushing the word out. Read. Find out what the Lord likes, what He don't like. Do what He does. Don't do what He don't. All right. Um, and let these things play out. All right. He does, and the word does tell you. You believe that through faith that in these times to come, everyone else will be hungry. You're gonna eat. Everyone else will be thirsty. You will drink. Um, let me see. Let's get that because I forget. I believe it's in the I believe it's in the Apocrypha, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Isaiah. And I'm big tripping. All right, let's get that 65 and 13. Isaiah, I don't want to go without getting that. Never want to pass up a chance to get a precept. Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And anybody can come and just say, well, it's the Old Testament. Well, there are prophecies here that have yet to happen in this, that Isaiah prophesied that have yet to happen, right? So that's one thing. And two, um, if the Lord, let's just say somebody tries to say, well, this already happened. Okay, well, if he did it then, he'll do it again. So, what are we talking about? If he did it then, he'll do it again. If he gonna, when have the righteous ever been forsaken, right? So you believe this through faith because the times we finna march into are not gonna be of the greatest. However, they are the greatest at the same time. Because blessed is he that gets to see the downfall of his enemy. So there's some stuff coming down the pipe, and we ought to be living while we can. You have this little fake thing of freedom. Walk circumspectly, walk pleasing unto the Lord, pay attention to things around you, so you can measure the time and repent. All right, so shalom.